Now, fascinating new figures show that fertility rates in England and Wales have fallen to an all-time low. Should it matter? Should we care? What's going on?
Well, head of the New Deal for Parents at the think tank Onward, Phoebe Arslanagic Little, is joining us now. Phoebe, thanks so much for coming on the programme. Can you just explain to our viewers what these figures mean? What is a fertility rate of 1.44?
Right, so the total fertility rate, that refers to the average number of children that we expect to be born to a woman over her lifetime. So we are now 1.44 as of 2023, and that's down from 1.55 in 2022. But really, those figures have been declining since 2010. When we look at what's happening in a bit more detail, the ONS tells us that the decline has been most pronounced in that younger age group, people in their 20s, but also actually among people in their 30s. But what these figures really represent, certainly to me, is the extent to which successive governments have let down people who want to become parents, who want to expand their families. We know that women want to have more children than they are having. And what that 1.44 figure is fundamentally about is about people who'd like to be a mum or dad, who want to have another child, but find that they can't. And we know how rewarding people find parenthood, how central it is to our lives. So there's a tremendous human cost here. And this is absolutely an area where the government can be making a difference and doing much, much more to help people have the children that they want.
Now, I would certainly agree with you about that. But actually, this is a phenomenon that is global now and not just in the Western world anymore. So it can't be just the case that particular policies in Britain are driving this change. There must be something else as well.
It's absolutely true that birth rates are declining all over the world. I do think that we have to be careful, though, when we compare very different countries. So what's driving birth decline, for example, in a place like rural India, is going to be very different to what's seeing birth rates go down in countries like the UK or France or the US. For example, we have some different emergent trends in Europe that we don't see quite so much in other parts of the world. So in the UK, also countries like the Netherlands, we see the emergence of a parent gap between the rich and poor. The higher your income is, the more likely you are now to ever become a mum or dad. People lower down the socioeconomic spectrum, poorer people finding it more difficult to ever be ready for parenthood. There are specific factors, specific trends at play in European countries, high income, developed countries like the UK that are a little bit different.
That's really interesting because people's misconception is often that poorer people have a lot of children. Maybe, you know, some people think that that's a bad thing, especially if they're on benefits, but that isn't what's happening anymore. That's what you're saying. But there's another misconception, isn't there, which is that there are too many people in the world and it's a good thing that the birth rate's falling. Why do you not agree with that?
Yes, so I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I mean, I think that there are two central reasons, I think, to push back on the idea that it's somehow good that people are having fewer children in the UK or really in the world more generally. One is, again, that we know that these figures, the number of children that people are having, that's coming below what people really want. And I think it's very important from a human flourishing perspective that people are able to have the families, to build the families that they want, able to access family life and not left, for example, like involuntarily childless, not ever able to become a mum or a dad. And actually less central, but also very important, is the socioeconomic angle to this. You know, economically, we're an ageing society in the UK and also in Europe, and we're caught in the pincer of two powerful factors. As fertility falls and lifespan increases, the working age population is shrinking. But at the same time, that older population needs lots of support. You know, spending on state pension, adult social care, healthcare costs. They're going to account for 50% at least of UK government spending in 2070, up from 35% in 2020. Those are OBR figures, and they may well be optimistic. And that means an ever-increasing tax burden for younger people who are working. It threatens the integrity and viability of our social security.
Phoebe, we're going to have to
net.
leave it there, I'm afraid, because we're running out of time. But thank you so much. A very good explanation for our viewers. We'll be back.
We're going to take